What's up? What's happening, folks? Welcome back to the channel Sports, Life, and Politics TV. I'm Samuel Koppel, YouTube's #1 couch detective, and I'm here for the music news. And over this past weekend, there has been a ton of music dropped and so much conversation and interest in this rap beef between Drake, Future, J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, Rick Ross, Future, Metro Boomin. The list goes on and on. And is it entertainment? Absolutely. Is it fun to watch? 100%. But can somebody get hurt? Hell yeah, somebody can get hurt. A lot of people, you starting to hear them come out and say, hey, I don't want to see nobody get hurt. Because I think deep down inside, everybody knows if you start telling too much truth, somebody's going to get hurt. Because we know one thing, no matter whose side you pick or whose side you're on, we all can agree with one thing. The truth hurts. And too much truth can get somebody the hell slapped out of them. That's a fact. But you would hope that it doesn't get personal. But how's a great rap beef not get personal? That's impossible. We're going to be going over both of these songs. Drake dropped Drop It, Give Me 50. Rick Ross dropped Champagne Moments. Rick Ross caught a stray, and then he came back and spent the block with a bazooka. Now, I've talked about Drake in certain videos, in particular the last video, and I said Drake is a great artist. No matter what happened, how I personally feel about Drake, he's on all my major playlists. No matter whose side I like Drake personally. I think he's a fantastic artist. But like I said before, he's a biracial Canadian. He's not a Negro. He's not an American Negro. And the American Negroes put him on, whether it be Birdman, Lil Wayne, Rap A Lot with Jay Prince. All those people surrounded him and gave him that extra push, especially within the black community, because he's looked at as soft. Why? Because he's a biracial Canadian. That's just a fact of life. I told you in my last video, before Rick Ross made this song, I said, this kid, he was picked on and bullied in school. If you look at my last video, I said that before all this was, if you look at his high school, middle school pictures, this is something that Drake said himself. He was picked on and bullied. So he's not, in his soul, he's not really a tough guy, but he is a hell of an artist. And he makes great songs with great hits. So let's take a look at this first song. Listen to this first song, Drop and Give Me 50. Kendrick Lamar diss. Let me say this. I like the beat.
Hey, I can never be nobody #1 fan. You first #1, I had to put it in your hand. You pussies can't get booked outside America for then. I'm out in Tokyo because I'm big in Japan. I'm a hit maker, y'all the band on. Backstage in my city, it was friend zone. You won't never take no chain off of us. How the fuck you be stepping with a size 7 man's on?
Yeah. Is that a great bar? Yes. Is it super personal? Nah. He said, how you a big stepper with a size 7 man on? Good bar, but more funny than hard hitting and feeling hurting. You know what I mean? It's just a good bar. It's funny, but it's not like, well, we so personal, I'm hurting feelings. Let's keep it going.
This part with the bike, nigga, what's up? I know my picture on the wall when y'all cook up. Baby, hold it red, you can shook up. This top, so you drop and give me 50 like a push-ups. Your last one brick.
What?
Really not on shit. They make excuses for you because they hate to see me lit. Pull your contract because we gotta see the split. The way you doing splits, bitch, your pants might rip.
Once again, great bars, but not that personal. Do the average person cares what his split is? Absolutely not. All these niggas is super rich. I don't know if that's hard hitting, but it's a great bar, and Drake makes it sound good. Yeah, it makes you want to dance. Yeah, you can groove to it. You can move to it.
Better do that motherfucking show inside the bitty. You gon' find need a verse, you better make it witty. You only need a verse for the Swifties. Top say drop, you better drop and give them 50.
Like again, he said, do a verse for Swifty. Taylor Swift is one of the biggest artists in the world. If she calls, most rappers are answering. including Drake, if the money's right. Because we see Drake is getting paid for Sexy Red to be around Sexy Red, and that's one of the most ratchet, ugly. When I first see Sexy Red, I thought she was born a boy, allegedly. I was like, that's a real girl. I didn't know. I don't know. When I first seen her, I didn't know. I didn't know what she was born as, but when Swifty called, you come running. I mean, she's one of the biggest artists in the world. Once again, great bars, sound good, but not very hard hitting. He said, SZA got you wiped down. Travis Scott got you wiped down. 21 Savage got you wiped down. Is any of them better artists than Kendrick Lamar? That's ridiculous. Once again, great bar. Not really true, so not very hard hitting. It's got to be something we don't know. For a great diss track, I want to hear something that's completely out of bounds. Like I said, most people say, I don't want to see nobody get hurt. Hey, nigga, somebody might get hurt. So either you want to see it or you don't. You can't. See, we got too many fence straddlers. Most of these niggas straddling the fence. When you get personal and get to talking shit and start telling the truth, somebody gonna get hurt eventually. So you can see the theme of the song. Kendrick Lamar's not very tall. Him a little guy. So the theme of the song is you're just a little guy and I'm bigger than you. So it's not that personal yet. Towards Kendrick, I would say the diss was a 5. How he made it sound, rhythm and groove, and how he put that shit together, yeah, that's an 8. Yeah, how it sound. But the disses is, yeah, we heard real disses. That's why I fucked your bitch. Yeah, we know what a real diss is. Fuck Jay-Z. Yeah, we know what a real diss is. This ain't it. Not yet. Let's keep listening. Cold bar. Cold bar. Cold. That's a poor bar. Metro, shut your ass up and make some drums. What he making drums from scratch? I guess, but I guess he had to make that fit in. But the other one, what's this? A 20v1 nigga? No, it's not a 20v1. It's more like a 5 or 6 versus 1. Because everybody else, nobody has made a dedicated diss track towards Drake except one guy. That's Rick Ross, and that just came. He says a 20v1, but all of the disses, if you're being honest, were very light. Very light. I'm talking about a Miller Lite. Maybe lighter than that. Yeah, I'm a 6 guy, I'm a front runner. Y'all nigga manager with Charles, little gun runner. Playing a 6 and you boys ain't even come from it. And when you boys got it, bitch, you ain't no gun from it. Cash growing, they with bread out here tricking. Shit we do for bitches, he doing for niggas. Jet switch, change, wiki. Spend it like you trying to fuck, boy, you tripping, boy, you tripping. Now this, he's talking about some other guy from Toronto, which I don't give a fuck about. He ain't no Negro. I don't care about no Canadian rap. I don't listen to that whack. Like the average nigga in Atlanta, and Detroit, Chicago, Dallas, LA, we don't listen to none of that Canadian. We don't care nothing about Canada. Let me say this. The average nigga in America don't care nothing about Canada. We don't think Canada tough. Canada don't dictate nothing. Ain't nothing Canadian nigga can do that when he comes to America. Nothing. So this whole thing about anything going on with Canada, I don't care. If he's talking about some Canadian nigga, I don't give a fuck. I don't want to say fuck. I don't mean like, but it's just honestly, if you're an American Negro, no matter where you're from, we don't care nothing about Canada. Hold on, let me hear that again. Hold on. Spinning like you trying to fuck, boy, you tripping. What? Drizzy tripping there, probably got your bitch in there. Like it's got a gun, boy, don't make me at the chipping there. Rolling loud stage, I was turned, that was sick as hell. Shit'll probably change if the beam started kissing tail. They talking about Travis Scott. Now, first he gave Travis Scott a shout out. He said Travis Scott was more lit, and I mean, was he had Kendrick Lamar wiped down. Now he's talking about it when they was on stage at the Rolling Loud with Metro Boomin, Future, and Travis Scott was out there, talking about that diss song with Kendrick of Travis Scott wanted him to play the song, and he was hyped for it and all that shit. But the song is hard. I've been jamming the shit out of that. The song's hard. I've been jamming this too. It's a hard song too. But he went from giving him props to dissing him. Once again, that's 50-50 playing it on the fence, y'all. Am I lying? Is it not 50-50? He gave Travis a shout out in the beginning of the song. Then he dissed Travis at the end of the song by saying, still probably change if your BM started kissing tail, because they was on that stage at the Rolling Loud. So I mean, is it a diss?
Don't tell me about no switches. I be rocking every fucking chain I own. That's busy.
What?
I be with some bodyguards like Britney and Top say, try your little midget ass better fucking. Niggas really got me out here rapping what I'm living. I might take the latest girl and comfort like a Ricky. Can't believe he jumping in this nigga turning 50. Every song he made it on the chart, he got for Drizzy. He spin that little chick, you gotta stay about my business.
Now he talk about Rick Ross. Now, when you talk about people who've been around you a lot and they know you very well, it's a tricky situation because all of us are flawed. None of us are perfect. I have friends, they know me personally. If we got to talking shit about each other, we can dog walk each other because we know each other. But if you're a stand-up nigga, there's only so much you can say. You might can say a few things, but then you would have to start making up lies. But when you're a Canadian, you were picked on in school, and you really not like that, and you get around these niggas, especially in the early days. Look, when you're around stump down real niggas, they know what you are. You can't hide it. There's no way around it. They looking. I'm not saying it's cool to be a tough guy, but when there are real tough guys in the room, hey man, you're gonna stick out like a sore thumb. And this guy paints his fingernails and all type. This guy right here paints his fingernails and all type of shit.
Shout out to the Hooper that be busting out the gate. You know why you mad, nigga? I ain't.
They ain't talking about Java, right? Look, Drake, I'm assuming this. Drake seems like the nigga that fucks everybody bitches, which is borderline homoerotic to run up in women after guys you know on purpose. Because if they didn't busted their kids all over this woman's face and in her stomach and everywhere else, and you come behind kissing and doing the same thing. So niggas is gonna feel a certain type of way about that. There's no doubt about that. You know, anybody know anything about history? You know, if you ever heard of Helen of Troy, yeah, wars are started over women, man. Yeah, Achilles was fighting in Troy, supposedly over a woman. Not his one. Wait a minute. Not Achilles' woman, but the war was started over Helen. Yeah, for sure. Let's see him again.
You know why you mad, nigga? I ain't even tripping. All that little heartbroken Twitter shit for bitches. It's for all the top dog dropping in the feet, chop. And that fucking song y'all got to not start to beef with us. This shit being brewing in a pot now and heating up. I don't care what Cole think, that got shit was weak as fuck. Champagne tripping, he is not fucking easing up. Nigga call it top to see it, top wanna piece it up.
Top wanna piece it up?
Top wanna piece it up? Nah, pussy, now you on your own when
you speak it up.
You roll beat to this, you not fucking beefing up. Begging cops are not, boy, you not fucking beating up. Numbers wise, I'm out of here, you not fucking beating
what?
Up. Money wise, I'm out of here,
you not fucking sneaking up.
I'ma let you niggas work it out because I seen enough. This ain't even everything I know, the way you demon up. This ain't even everything I know, the way you demon up. Drop it, give me 50 on the fuck niggas teaming up.
Hey, hell of a song. What do I give it? What would I rate that song as just a song? I would give it a 7.5 as a song because it's grooving. You can move to it. The flow is. Drake has a fantastic flow. Who the fuck are we kidding? Yeah, he has a great flow. Yeah, I'm dancing. As I'm listening to that shit, I'm standing up. I'm moving and grooving. Yeah, but as an actual diss, it's a 5 because we've heard real disses. None of that shit got real personal. but the songs sound fantastic. But not 2 hours later, in record disc time. Now, this is record disc time. Rick Ross immediately was looked like he was at the starting track to run to the studio because he knew the disc was coming. And as soon as the disc dropped, not 2.5 hours later, Rick Ross Champagne Moments dropped. Now, let me say this about Ricky Rose. People say, well, he ain't the real Rick Ross. He's taking on a persona. This is a Nickelodeon nigga. They all got personas. Nobody's who they say they really are. So when people say Rick Ross, but Rick Ross is from Miami. And when you're in that environment, some shit you gonna have to stand on. You gonna have to be around some real motherfuckers. This guy was highly protected by Rap A Lot and Cash Money. And them Houston niggas, New Orleans niggas protected that nigga for sure, because he would have never made it in America without that. He'd have been got crushed. There's a lot of shit that will stop because of those niggas out of New Orleans and out of fucking Houston, for sure. But let's take a look to this, listen to this Rick Ross Champagne Moments. Rick Ross makes some of the most player music you've ever heard. If you just want to ride, if you can ride and roll a blunt with one hand, if you like to sip fine cognac, if you just want to hear some relaxing rap and vibe, some shit that you can might just, you know what I mean, lay back and just groove and move to, Rick Ross got it. Let's listen to this, Champagne Moments.
Crack smoke is the exhaust from my pen and pad.
Hold on, let me start it over. The volume was kind of low.
Exactly. Fish tanks and marble floors, living big and bad. Niggas laugh until they hit with my official jab. Crack smoke is the exhaust from my pen and pad. Ghost writers, they get the floss, what you could have had.
When Drake, look, Drake does he have ghostwriters? There's no doubt about that. He makes a lot of music. So, you know, I try to be, I'm not a fan of no man. I want to make that, I'm not a man fan. There are particular artists who I like a little more than others. But when it comes to like all that overly defending and going crazy and dog walking another, I'm not doing all that. Drake is a great artist. Even if every song Drake had was written, the way he performed it and the way he fucking came across in his flow, it was perfect a lot of times. That don't mean all his albums is perfect. I mean just overall as an artist, fantastic. But when you start comparing people at the top, you have to start nitpicking. Like when we compare Michael Jordan to LeBron James, we got to nitpick that shit. You got to start nitpicking. There's no doubt about that. And if you're not writing, that's why I say people say he's better than Tupac. I don't know about that. Tupac was a real writer. Tupac wrote all that shit. Tupac wrote. He wrote that. That's a different level. Prince had to write all his own shit. That's why Prince always thought he was a better artist than Michael Jackson.
The lady taking the loss, are you in your bag? They hit with my official jab. Crack smoke is the exhaust from my pen and pad. Ghost writers, they get the floss, what you could have had. Record lady taking the loss, are you in your bag? You a worker on the chart. Don't make me laugh. Get the mind, tell by my watch, this a different time. Living fine, I'm getting high, and so shit decline. Who believes he moving keys and this Louis V? Run up on you and snatch your chain, watch you bitches bleed. Feel the pain or just describe when you really ride. Either you niggas getting money or ready to die. B.I.G. or give a fuck if you G.I.
That was a cold line. That was a cold line. He said, feel the pain, describe when you really ride. Either you niggas getting money or you ready to die. That's the name of Biggie album. B.I.G. give a fuck if you Chi-I-Lie. That's bars. Now, you know, Rick Ross got it. That Rick Ross got a hell of a catalog. He ain't got nothing to sneeze on.
Describe when you really ride. Either you niggas getting money or ready to die. B.I.G. or give a fuck if you G.I.L.E. You got it when you keep it tucked if you be by me. Do the job, better known as the Charles Schwab. Double R spread through the yard and I swear to God.
And let me say this. Rick Ross he's another person who has a great flow. It's very easy to listen to. He almost has a soothing rap. Yeah, his rap is fantastic too. No matter what you think about these people personally, they all are great artists. They really are. But he does come from Miami, a different environment. You do have to you got to walk through the wolves. It's a little bit different. You're not going to get the same protections coming through as like Drake did coming from Nickelodeon as an actor. And you get the New Orleans and Wayne and well, not Wayne. Well, Wayne was the co-signer, but Baby, and then you got Jay Prince, and those is like real respected figures in the rap game, especially amongst Negroes, especially in that gangster rap world, for sure.
Papa Burke for the bill, go and count me a meal. Kill you niggas for free, do it all for the thrill. Niggas leaking their records when we speaking directly.
And when he said that shit, niggas leaking their records when we speaking directly, niggas went crazy because then you realize immediately, damn, Drake leaked that record, or somebody from within his camp leaked the record. And then when the record got leaked, he said this shit 2 hours later. Niggas like, what? This nigga just made that, which was made sense because he said, well, niggas leaking their records when we speaking directly. If you keep it a gangster, when you see me, you check me. That's cold. And then he said the ultimate diss, white boy. Is there anything wrong? Is anything wrong with being a white boy? No, obviously. But amongst us, if you get niggas around, we don't look at white boys like they just the strongest, hardest, toughest motherfuckers. I'm talking about individually as a man. You take away guns, a military, and all that shit, cops and bad. If you just look at him man to man, we don't look at them like they're superior to us. If you want me to be brutally honest, I can be. We actually think we're far superior as men. But, that's just my personal opinion. But I'm telling you what black men think. That's why I say you's a white boy. You a half-breed. You really not on either side. So that's the ultimate diss. That's when this shit starts to get personal. This hurts Drake. You might say, no, it don't. Yes, it does. All people who are biracial have a built-in confliction. They're conflicted because I've talked to so many biracial people over the years and I get their perspective, they all say the same thing. Yes, it was hard being biracial because they wasn't totally accepted by some black people and they weren't totally accepted by white people. So it was tough.
Swear to God, Papa Burke for the bill, go and count me a meal. Kill you niggas for free, do it all for the thrill. Niggas leaking their records when we speaking directly. If we keeping it gangster, when you see me, you check me. White boy, I see you. I see you. Yeah. Check. Getting bullied and walk up on me because the clip is full.
Once again, I said it before this all came out. That's why he said getting bullied. You were a bullied kid. When you were in middle school, elementary, middle school, high school, you were bullied. You wasn't tough. You wasn't whooping nobody ass. You wasn't taking, because there's a lot of niggas who grew up, they wasn't taking that shit. Anybody who know me, when I was growing, I was a fighting ass nigga growing up. East Dallas. I ain't said I won every fight, but I always was a fighter. That's a fact. Yeah, that's a fact. I wasn't turning down nothing. Yeah, everything. Look, when you don't come from that environment, niggas, that's why I say in the beginning, they can see that.
Pussy don't want to push me. I'm like, really, would he? Like his moves, but he never had a fight in school. Another nigga had to write your rules. Flows, copy and paste. Weezy gave you the juice. Another white boy at the park want to hang with the crew.
What?
Pulitzer Prize when they're switching up like goddamn.
That's Kendrick?
Killings while we ride rentals. Look me right in my face. He beginning to shake. Told you niggas stay scheming. I predicted my fate. Got more money than you. Fuck you want me to say. 50 mils for the crib. Where you want me to stay? I can shoot up the block. I got
bitches to paint.
Let you dig in my O's. But
yeah, bitches you can't.
Let you get on my songs. It was good for your face. Now,
hey, a lot of people say, well, Drake made him. He got on his song and made him number one. But y'all, let me say this. What y'all are failing to realize is that Drake was not respected by hood niggas. It was a time where it's not that he was looked at as soft. It was niggas really thought this nigga was soft. So that's why they put him with all these particular people strategically. Not because his flow, he had great flows, great hooks. All that shit was fantastic. I think I bigged him up a lot in this video, but I'm also telling the truth. When he said, I let you on my songs, it was good for your face because your face looked weak. And we knew you was weak. They knew that. when you a real stomp down ass nigga, you get around certain people, you can hear the shit they say. You can watch their demeanor. You can see how they react to certain shit that's going on. They knew Drake wasn't that type of guy. This is a Nickelodeon. This is a Nickelodeon half milk and coffee guy.
State. I can shoot up the block. I got bitches to pay. Let you dig in my hole, but got bitches you can't. Let you get on my songs. It was good for your face. Now bitch nigga is home. Ain't no room for debate. Pocket perks for the field. Go and count me a meal. Kill you niggas for free. Do it all for the thrill. Niggas leaking their records. When we speaking directly. If we keeping it gangster. When you see me, you check it.
Do I think Drake will personally walk up to Rick Ross and check him? Absolutely not. Just where that's why I say like one on one. Look, when you have all this security and all these people around, that's one thing. But who you are when you by yourself is totally now. Drake at this point will never be by himself, so you'll never get to see. But there was a time when he was when he was by himself, and he was getting bullied, picked on, and pushed around. And when he got into the industry, he had to be protected and shielded. There's no doubt about that. The way we're saying your father, you have to make your nose smaller than your father nose. Do I think he did something to his nose? Probably. Did he get a fake six pack? You damn Skippy, he did. Let's see if we get. I like the way he said father. And it's funny that he said police because he was a probation officer. I don't know if he's not a probation officer, but what they call it when you work at the prison, a prison guard, which is technically an officer, technically, but it's not like you pulling people over and framing people. But there's some shiesty motherfuckers that working in prisons too. But I don't think he was ever really did that shit. I think he went through the school to try to do something with his life. Do I find anything wrong with that? Absolutely not. Because when push come to shove, when none of you niggas gonna pay Rick Ross bills, he realized he had a skill and a talent. He had a backup plan. If none of this shit go right, I'll go work at this prison for some years. I'll get me a pension and retire and still leave a halfway decent life. So ain't nothing wrong with that. But it is funny that he said something about the police considering technically he was the police too. See, I call it fair and square like it is.
That one the same right way that I seen nigga when we making the early records, nigga. When you were happy to be around niggas, seeing niggas hard to study your life, nigga. Give Weezy some more money, nigga. You rap a lot some more money, nigga. White boy, yo, biggest, Rose, nigga. We can do how you want to do it, ready, you want to do it, anytime you want to do it. I'm ready, white boy. I know you got.
He know that hurts. See, if you catch the theme of this one, of this song, is that he's a white boy. He keeps throwing that jab because is there anything technically being wrong with a white boy? No, but he knows that hurts him because he's biracial. That's why I say biracial people are born with a conflicted heart and a conflicted spirit because they have two different races. They're not really one race. They're not black and they're not white. That's why in China you can't be half Chinese and half black and run for president in China. Ain't no fucking way. They're gonna say, "Oh no, we don't know where your spirit lies. We don't know who you are." So that's why he keeps yelling, "White boy." Let me tell you what's funny about that. I've had white friends, and it is known for a white boy to wear some goddamn jeans and some Dockers with no fucking drawers on. And we know for a fact that white boys and white people in general, not all, but a lot of them bathe with just the soap and no wash rag. So there is cultural differences that he's picking at him with. He said he got Dockers on with no drawers. He's out here free balling. Drake, you nasty motherfucker.
I'm ready, white boy. Huh? I know you got your Dockers on. No, I know where white boy. You got that six-pack on. That's what that funny shit that you show you can't hide. White boy.
Hey, listen to me. In the very last His very last two words on that song was white boy. That hurt. Drake does not like that. And Rick Ross has been on Instagram and on social media telling that nigga to drop his response. Before we even get to Kendrick, which Kendrick has to drop a diss eventually, I would imagine. But before we even get to that, he most definitely got to deal with Rick Ross. But he got to be careful because Rick Ross dropped a fucking song for 2.5 hours. Out of these two songs, which one do I think was better? I would give Rick Ross the small edge only, listen to me, only because he dropped it in 2.5 hours. It took him a couple weeks to make his diss track. Rick Ross came immediately. And this goes back to a lot of people think Drake has ghostwriters. And a lot of people know he has ghostwriters. And is there anything wrong with ghostwriters? No. But when you start comparing yourself to the other greats and they don't have none, then that's something that you have to nitpick. That's something that you have to put in your attributes. And if you're building the 2K player, you got to say, oh, no, this motherfucker, he didn't pay for all the coins and then turned his 3-point up to 99. And on the first day the game came out. So it's like you didn't earn it the real way. You're not having to get in the studio and come up with concepts and rhythms and rhyme. You got a team of motherfuckers helping you. But regardless, Drake is a great artist. I'm gonna keep saying that. I'm gonna still listen. I'm not a man fan. I'm gonna still enjoy all these guys' music. Whether Rick Ross, Drake, Future. I don't really listen to a lot of Future, so a little bit, but you know, that like that was that's a hit. But all these guys, J. Cole, I'm gonna still listen to J. Cole. Nothing's gonna stop me from listening to that. But yeah, I just wanted to go over those two tracks, y'all. It seems like it's up in the industry. Now we're waiting on Kendrick to drop, and Kendrick will be coming here soon. They had a before I leave, let me say this. They had a what was that? It was a song. Oh yeah, it's right here. This was AI. Let me say this about that artificial intelligence before I leave. Nigga, that artificial intelligence is better than some of these rappers. They got a song called Hot Whitney, which is Kendrick Lamar's wife name. And it's artificial intelligence that did the track. This AI is rapping and sound just like the artists. These artists better get their shit together. Because let's take a look. Well, we here. Let's listen to it. But this is artificial intelligence. It say Drake, High Whitney, new Kendrick diss, and this is not from Drake. This is the artificial intelligence. The motherfucker used that to make this.
Drake stop, but it Drake flop, cause I make that little boy cake, not turn K-pop. I see these niggas keep just sleeping at rest stops and having show earnings and profits come from that wing stop. I bet you your blow, button up in your two top, but talking on that hoop line, fuck on the bread, poop out. High with me, high with me. Won't you come over, girl, get high with me. Tell me about your insecurities, impurities, and shortcomings. Baby, I have more coming and more coming, more life, more money, more success, more trade. Fucking no more everything. I know you don't like all the travel decorations in your house. You wanted something changed to what is bothering you now. I'm sending that interior decorated to your house. Incorporate a couple hours until the baby is born. Let's stick with it for now. Niggas try to rekindle their careers off my child. Now let's talk about it. I'm about to push all the buttons. Push they keep that. Push the G Fountain and he clear away to drink that. Niggas hate on me. I already got it. They would rethink that. Got a point.
Yeah, that was AI. And I heard another AI before his disc came out, another AI. And them bars was cold. So this artificial intelligence, they introducing that in the rap game. A nigga can literally sit back and not even rap no more. He can just put out a bunch of artificial intelligence and he can make 100 different verses and pick the best one from artificial intelligence and then just go with that and make it like it's him at this point. We in some scary times. I just covered the Israel versus Iran and Palestine and the United States and all that. I just covered that. It's World War. We had the cusp of World War III, and in rap, we got a World War III rap beef at this particular juncture in history. Do I think all these people are in cahoots together and this is one big play? 100%. There's nothing wrong with that. That's all entertainment. That's why you don't take it too seriously and you don't be a man fan to where you just start completely dissing and destroying other people. No, man, all these guys are great artists. We all have flaws. Drake has flaws. Rick Ross has flaws. Kendrick has flaws. J. Cole has flaws. Everybody has flaws. But the only thing is, when Drake is not from America and he has to be protected by Americans, they're gonna call his flaws out. But I appreciate you guys tuning in. This has been Sports Life Politics TV. I'm Samuel Koppel. YouTube's number one couch detective. I'm here for the news. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. I just took your ass on Rick Ross. Keep calling Drake a white boy ride. Peace.